Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to the Main Ingredients Bread of Life Devotional. As always, I can't think of a better way to start off our week than to get into the Word. We're continuing in 1 Peter, letters of encouragement. And today our devotional comes from 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8 through 9. And it reads, "Finally, all of you should be of one mind. Sympathize with each other. Love each other as brothers and sisters. Be tender-hearted and keep a humble attitude. Don't repay evil with evil. Don't retaliate with insults when people insult you. Instead, pay them back with a blessing. That is what God has called you to do, and He will grant you His blessing." Now, just for a few moments, I'm going to talk to you from the subject, a simple program for complicated people. Now, many of you may or may not know, but I'm in recovery. And in the recovery community, we have a saying that describes our inability to live out the concept of recovery. You want to hear it? Here it goes. This is a simple program for complicated people. The concept of recovery is simple. It begins with step 1 and goes through step 12. There are suggestions and tools that we acquire along the way to help us apply the concept of recovery to our lives. There is a process which, if applied correctly, will give the one seeking recovery longevity in recovery. What is this concept? Make 90 meetings in 90 days. Get a sponsor. Work the steps, rework the steps, and rework the steps. Call someone before you mess up, not after you mess up. And there are others. But the point is, the process is simple, yet we overcomplicate it. The bottom line is, we want to live our own way, so we try to find loopholes in the process and end up out of the process. The process is set. There are no loopholes. To live a life of recovery, we must follow the process. There is a simple process to living a life of a Christian, but we overcomplicate it. We look for loopholes in the process to justify our desires, to justify the things that we want in the ways that we desire to live, and not as God intended for us to live. There are no loopholes. And to live as Christians, this is how Peter suggests that we do it. Be of one mind, pursuing the same goals. Be united in God's purpose and not divided in our own agendas. Show sympathy by being responsive to others' needs. Love one another. That's a difficult task. See each other as brother and sister and not as a threat or an enemy. Display tenderness by being affectionate and sensitive and caring for one another. Show humility. Be willing to encourage one another and rejoice in each other's success. Rise above getting back at those who hurt you. Instead of seeking revenge, seek forgiveness. This is truly a simple process, but for complicated people. Our truth is, God has chosen you and I as believers to show what a difference true faith can make in the world. You and I are called to be witnesses and examples of what it means to live for Christ. My prayer is that our Father in heaven would help us to not overcomplicate the simple process it takes to live in the body of Christ. As always, we do this for food, we do this for relationships, we do this for Jesus.